Hey everybody, it's Brenda Santos with Menson Studios. So if you're watching this video, you've probably already purchased and downloaded my customizable frame with words for your Glowforge cutter. And if you did, I appreciate it and hope you make lots of money and you're able to sell lots of them or hopefully make some pretty gifts and decorations for your home and for friends. If you have stumbled across this on my YouTube channel, I will definitely put a link. So if you're interested, you can purchase the file and use it for your own laser cutter or pretty much anything you can use an SVG file for. All right, so we will get started. So what we're going to do is we are going to make this pretty frame. On this, you're going to be able to customize your background. So we have a shiplap option, we have a name option, and then we have a quatrefoil option. You also can decide which cross you want to use. We have like the classic cross, that's kind of what I call it. And then we have a sunburst cross. And then you're also going to have a choice of 4 kind of little name or saying plates up here. So we've got grateful, hope, faith in Jesus. These are going to be engraved, so that will take just a little more time than doing your scoring, but everything else in this file will be scored. And I do have that in the instructions. So let's scooch over to show you what is going to be in the file when you purchase it. So when you purchase your file, you will get all of these files in your download, and what I've done is I have separated them out based on the backgrounds and then which cross you're going to use, and then you're going to receive kind of the nameplates in a separate file. And the reason I did this is because when I have seen other SVG files, sometimes if there's a lot of options, it kind of comes in one big plate, and then you have to group them and cut them and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it just seemed a little cumbersome. So I'm going to show you how to load those into your Glowforge software. And then finally, you're going to get this 8x10 master design. It's basically going to show you how things should be layered and laid out. So you're going to put your base down first. You're going to glue over your frame and then your cross, and then you're going to glue the little plate on top. So whatever combination you want to do. And then even though I did make this video, you are going to have some printed out instructions. So for the font that I used for the names, I did use American Typewriter. It is a free font that you can download, so you can Google that. If you are going to use it for commercial use, I suggest you buy the commercial license, but if you're using it for personal, you can download it for free. Again, just Google that and you should be able to find it. If not, you can use any kind of skinny font that you like, just so you want to fit it in within that. Kind of give you some steps. One of the important things I did want to point out is in my files, I try to keep them separated so you can use them kind of like the colors that Glowforges use. So anywhere you see red outline, you want to cut that. Anywhere you see a blue, you're going to want to engrave, and anywhere you see purple outline, you're going to score that. Okay, and then I go into kind of a typed out instructions on how to line up the names so they fit within this frame, kind of like you see it here. All right, so now let's move on to how to actually load these into your Glowforge. So I've loaded in the Glowforge proof grade medium draft board into the cutter, and I'm just using this to kind of show you how to load the files. I'm not actually going to cut it because this is just a tutorial, but basically on this, if I were cutting it, I would just use the same settings that I guess the kind of this QR code puts in. That's worked for me. I'm sure it's worked for a lot of you, but if you're new to Glowforge, just wanted to let you know that that was an option. Now we're going to upload the artwork. So you're going to come here to upload, and then here are our choices again. So I am going to do the shiplap background, And on this, I do show that you want your lighter wood in the back and your darker wood on the top. And I have named the files that, so that way you can determine that. Of course, you can do whatever you want. Just find that the engraving and the scoring looks better on light wood, so that way your frame can be the dark wood. But again, that's your choice. And then on my file, I have separated them by colors. So your light wood, you are going to use, choose your base. So you can do the quatrefoil, you can do the shiplap, or you can do the names. I've chosen again to do the shiplap look. So right here, like I said, your file was saved with purple in the lines. So you're going to want to select those, and you're going to want to score those. And then on your outline box, your frame, you're going to want to keep it at a cut. All right. So now the other part of this file that is a light wood is going to be your little nameplates, like the faith, hope, and things like that. So you're going to go and upload your file, and I have called them Word, 8x10 Word on light wood. You're going to open that. Should load in just 1 second. So I'm going to pull these over, and we're just going to go with hope since that's the first one. Oops, sorry, you have to ungroup it. So we're going to go with hope. And all I did was ungroup it, select it, and then now I've got this here. So again, anywhere that it is blue, you're going to want to engrave, and anywhere it's red, you're going to want to cut. Okay, so if you are new to Glowforge, I'm going to go ahead and group these. So I did Control G or Command G. I'm on a Mac, so that way they don't come apart while I'm moving them. If you are new to Glowforge, what I did not realize was when I first started was it cuts in this order, which seems pretty probably obvious to some people, but to me it was not, because I was kind of trying to figure everything out. So my tip is, if you're new or veteran, you definitely want to engrave and to score before you actually cut, because what happens is when you do your cuts, sometimes there's just a tiny little space between your crumb tray and your Glowforge, so when it cuts, it kind of drops down, and sometimes your alignment will be off and it won't look perfect. So I always do the scoring first. Oh, sorry, that was the cut. So we're going to do the scoring first. So you just drag and drop it up here, and then you're going to do the engraving, and then you can do your cutting. So what happens is it takes care of all this middle, so that way when you're cutting, your alignment is perfect. Okay, and then of course you can line it up on your board however you want to save space, and then you can cut that. So then you're just going to hit print. Hopefully this won't take too long to load. And those should be your two light pieces on the wood. Now this is going to take a little longer because we are engraving this hope. Of course, if that's not something you want to do, you can always change this to score, and you can paint in there. I just have set this file up to score, so again, that's up to you. So at this point, you would just hit print on your machine and it would be ready to go. But because this is a tutorial, I am not going to print that. So now we're going to move on to the top. Okay, so for argument's sake, this is still the same board, but let's say that we switched it out to the darker wood. But just for the sake of this tutorial, because I didn't want to go back to the front and switch out the wood, because my Glowforge is in the front of my studio, and I'm being lazy. Anyway, so just use your imagination. So we've switched to a dark board now. Okay, so this is going to be your top. So you're going to repeat the steps. You're just going to go to upload. You're going to choose which cross you want. We've got the sunburst, and then we have the standard cross or just regular cross. You're going to upload that. Of course, you're going to drag and drop it over here. This one, you're going to score. Those are going to be the little notches. And again, in the file, I have made those purple so you can kind of see. And then right here, you're going to cut your frame in red and the cross. So you can do one of two things. I cut it like this and I set it up this way because what happens is you're going to have a little frame here, and you're going to have negative space where the cross is. So you can actually pop in some pretty colored acrylic, or fill it with something or put a picture behind it, and you have another set of artwork. So I just figured that's kind of a 2 for bonus. So of course, if you want to not use that and you want to use this kind of square so that way it doesn't cut it out, and you want your cross separate, what I did is I ungrouped, and then you can take and drag this cross over here, and that way when it cuts it, you're going to have a frame and you're going to have just a square. So you can use it for a backing for a frame, you can use it for anything else, but that's just kind of a little tip as a bonus. So I'm just going to move that back, and then this should be everything you're going to need for the dark wood. So then you're going to just hit your print again, and I think this cuts in about 3 minutes. I was thinking 5. I think the sunburst one is about 5 minutes long, just because there's a little more to detail in that one. Okay, so now we are going to move on to showing you how to do the names for the customizable name background. Okay, so let's scooch over to Illustrator, and that is the program that I use. You can use any other program that you can create a vector, what's it called? Vector text. And that could be like CorelDRAW. I know there's some other programs, but I'm just a graphic designer, so I'm used to using Illustrator. Okay, so let me cancel that, and we're going to go over to Illustrator, and I'm going to show you how to do. So we're back in Illustrator, and this is the program that I use to design. Like I said before, you can use CorelDRAW, you can use any of the other software that you create things for Glowforge in. You just want to be able to make vector-based text. So let me show you. So this is what I do. So I have set up the names to where they are lined up and spaced to be able to fit within that frame. So this name and this name, so the E and the N, as long as you left align your first name and right align your last name with these two on the ends, so the left and the rightmost names, you should be okay. And then you're going to evenly distribute any extra names between there, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I am going to create the name again, and I used American Typewriter, and it was American Typewriter Light, and I'm going to zoom in because I have old eyes and I can't see. Okay, so I'm going to type in my name, Brenda, and then I am going to I'm going to right click, and you can do create outlines, and this creates it into a vector base. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to right align it. I'm sorry, these are grouped, so you're going to want to ungroup. So I'm going to right align this one. I'm going to do it with the top of this name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to make sure that this name is about the same height. It doesn't have to be, but I just want it about the same height. You can make it smaller. Really, the important thing is that you keep it aligned to the left. So we go for that. It looks messy right now, but I promise it's going to look good here in a second, and I'm showing you what I'm doing. Okay, so you can type in, we're going to use the name David, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, and I'm going to create outline, and now we're going to align it with the left name. So left, and I always do here, and then I am going to make sure, see how this D and the N, I want to make sure that they're about the same height. There we go. And then, sorry, we're going to realign that. So left and top. And then I am going to do, let's do, I don't know, Lauren as the other name. And you can type in as many names as you want. You're just going to have to make sure that they fit within these. So what will happen is if you have longer and more names, it's just going to get smaller. The names are going to get smaller. You can add more lines of text. Really, what you want to do is make sure that the left and right are the same all the way down. So the lefts and right, I wouldn't change that because the way I have it set up, it's going to line up perfectly. And then you also want to make sure that the bottom row fits here, and then your top row fits here. And then you can evenly distribute, you know, if you're adding more lines or less lines in between there. And that should be good to get you within that frame. Okay, and then I'm going to create outlines for this. I'm going to do the same thing. Of course, you can resize it. The reason I'm not using resizing, like over here, like it's usually like 3.25, is because sometimes you'll have like a Y in a name or like a swoop that goes up, so your dimensions aren't always going to be the same. So always make sure that the capital letter is the same height as that. All right, and then let's put one more name in. Let's put we did a boy, girl, boy, girl. Let's do a boy name. Let's do Seth. And I'm going to create outlines, and then the same thing, scooch them over here. Now you don't necessarily have to line them up against this one because I'm going to show you we're going to distribute the names here in a minute. We just are looking for top and bottom right here. Okay. So then now once you've kind of got your top row, then you can go in and you can delete the one that I did. I'm going to zoom back in and I'm going to select the purple and I'm going to delete that. Okay, so now that you have them lined up, we're going to bottom align these. Okay, so all I did is select them and then I aligned the bottoms, and then now what I'm going to do is I am going to distribute these names. So I'm going to leave these two where they are and then just make sure that it's distributed evenly, so that way they look nice and even. And so you just go to your alignment, and on this one I'm going to align to selection, and then I'm just going to pop that, and that's distribute spacing evenly. Okay, and then so basically if you are keeping the same names for everything, the easiest way to do it is just to copy this. Now right here it's probably going to be shorter here, so what I do is I repeat the names. So you know, Brenda, Lauren, Seth, David, I would do Brenda over here. So we're going to keep that line where it is. We're going to copy and then paste it, and then we're going to, I'm going to group this so it doesn't come apart, and I'm going to left align and top align that. And see how there's one extra name? I'll go in here and I will make a copy of the Brenda, and then I'm going to left align, right align, sorry, and then top align that, and then come here, delete that, and then, oops, sorry, you take your names, and then I grouped them, so I'm going to ungroup them again, and then same thing, you're just going to distribute the, oh, sorry, I ungrouped this guy. It needs to stay grouped. Okay. And then once this is grouped, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to confuse you. All I did is, because this is now a vector, it's looking at each one of these as a shape, so instead of a name, like being together, like one typed piece, it's looking at these as separate objects, so I had to go back and group them so it didn't separate the letters. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this and then I'm going to distribute the names. Okay, and then once you have those two, all I do is I group them as two lines, and then you can copy, and then you should be able, I grabbed the other one, should be able to go back and align, and then they're going to align, and then you just delete the name back here, the preset text, and it should line you up all the way down. And that's how you get your thing. So last thing is you're going to file, save as, and you're going to do it as an SVG file, and you do save, and you're all set. So that is the easiest way that I know of to do the names. It is a little bit of repetitive work, but you can just move them around and space them to look even. Like I said, the main thing you want to do is make sure you align left and right, top and bottom, and they should fit within the frame and look nice. Alrighty, so that is how you do that, and I think I have showed you everything. Again, this is what we are making. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am happy to help. I am new to making Glowforge files, but I have been a graphic designer and photographer and t-shirt maker. I have had my business for over 16 years now, so I'm pretty versed in creating files and things like that. I'm just sort of new to Glowforge, so I'm learning along with you. So as I create files, I want to make sure that they're nice and easy for you to use. So that's why I thought this video would be helpful. All right, if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up on this video and comment. And I hope to be making more files soon, and stay tuned. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye.